What? This is it. This is, in 5 hours, Rhino will be history. I mean, the show will. There'll be fascists until the day we die. Not like Anna. This being our last night, we want to get as many people in as we possibly can. This is an experimental space. Right now, you're all breaking the law. Yeah! This show goes like this. The first act is here. And then you got to lift your chairs and turn it around to that stage. Then after that scene, you got to turn it around to that stage. And a lot of people, for some reason, keep their chair like this and look like that. It's okay when you move your chair around and get comfortable and face that way. Afterwards, there'll be an intermission of 15 minutes and refreshments outside, and we will change this set into the second part of the show. Around 2 years ago, I went to Europe, and I was amazed at what's going on. Not only what we read in the paper, but in Europe, you read the European papers. It's very frightening what's going on in Europe. What's happening to the Gypsies, what's happening to the Jews, what's happening to the Algerians, what's happening to all the minority groups. Fascism is on the rise, not only in Europe, but here. Go look at the plaza. Yesterday I was in the plaza, 3 cop cars sitting in the plaza day and night. All right? Makes you just wonder what's happening. Okay? So thank you again for coming.
So you managed to get here. At last.
Good morning, Jean?
Late as usual, of course. Our appointment was for 11:30, and now it's practically noon.
Sorry, have you been waiting long?
No, I just arrived myself, as you saw.
Well, in that case, I don't feel so bad if you only just
It's
arrived.
different with me. I don't like waiting. I don't have any time to waste. And as you're never on time, I come late on purpose, at a time when I presume you might actually be there.
You're right.
Now, don't try to pretend that you're ever on time.
I'm not trying to...
There you are, you see?
What are you drinking?
Do you mean to say you have a thirst even at this time in the morning?
It's so hot and dry.
The more you drink, the thirstier you get. Popular
I
science
would be less
tells-
thirsty, and it would be less dry if it rained every once in a while.
That wouldn't help you any. You're not thirsty for water, Berenger.
I don't understand what you mean.
You know perfectly well what I mean. I'm talking about your parched throat. There's a territory that can't get enough.
Compare my throat to a piece of land. It seems a bit
You're in
passive.
bad shape, my friend.
Bad shape? You think so?
I'm not blind, you know. You're dropping with fatigue. You've gone without your sleep again. You yawn all the time. You're absolutely dead tired.
Something's wrong with my hair, though.
You reek of alcohol.
It's true. I have a bit of a hangover.
It's the same every Sunday morning, not to mention the other days of the week.
It's not so bad during the week. Because of my job.
And what happened to your tie? Lost it during your orgy, I suppose?
Swimming? I don't know. I'm not sure I'm done with it.
Here, put this one on.
Thanks, that's nice of you.
Your hair's all over the place. Here's a comb.
Oh, thanks.
You haven't even shaved. Just take a look at yourself.
The tongue's all coated.
I'm not surprised. You're heading for cirrhosis, my friend.
Cirrhosis? You think so?
Keep the tie, I've got plenty more.
You always look so immaculate.
Your shirt's all crumpled and ripped. And your shoes, they haven't even been touched. And your shoulders, what has happened to your shoulders?
What's wrong with my shoulders?
Come on, turn around. Leaning up against some wall again, I suppose. Where did all that come from?
I don't remember.
It's a positive disgrace. Sometimes I feel ashamed to be your friend.
Really hard on me.
I have every reason to be.
Listen, John. There are so few distractions in this town. I get so bored. I'm not cut out for the work I'm doing. Every day at the office, 8 hours a day. Only 3 weeks holiday a year. When Saturday night comes around, I feel exhausted. So, you know how it is, just to relax.
My good man, everybody has to work. I spend 8 hours a day at the office just like everyone else. And I only get 3 weeks holiday a year, but still, you don't catch me. Willpower, my good man.
But everyone hasn't got as much willpower as you. I can't get used to it. I can't get used to life.
Everybody has to get used to it. Or do you consider yourself to be some kind of superior being?
I don't pretend to be.
I'm just as good as you are. I think, with all due modesty, I may say I'm better. A superior man is the man who fulfills his duty.
What duty?
Well, his duty as an employee, for example.
Yes, duty as an employee.
Where did your debauch take place last night? If you can remember.
We were celebrating August's birthday. Our friend, August.
Our friend August. Nobody invited me to our friend August's birthday.
Well, I couldn't refuse. It wouldn't have been nice.
Did I go there?
That's probably because you weren't invited.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can we get you something to drink?
True, I was not invited. That honor was denied me. But still, I can assure you that even if I wouldn't have gone. What's going on?
made lots of dust. As if it was a rhinoceros.
It gave me such a scare.
You're basking all your things.
Well,
Yeah, I
what
told
did you
you
think of
pick up
that?
your thing. You don't often see that.
First time I've seen that.
What did you think of that?
Those animals in the natural thing.
Wait,
They
that's
want
like a
you to read it.
My friend
What did
was
you
a
think of that?
logician.
But it's already out of sight. That'll teach her
Of
by
the
her things
rhinoceros,
from
of
somebody
course.
else.
What did you think I meant?
Don't hang about, look after the gentleman.
What are you thinking? It isn't spiteful, is it?
It wouldn't hurt a
Two
fly.
brandies, please.
Where's my
Puss,
wine?
puss, I've got plenty more and good stuff. Go and get her another bottle. 2 brandies, right away. Unbreakable bottles. Replace them in an orderly fashion.
Well, what did you think about it?
I have some good chilies as well. It's $12.50 a bottle.
Thank
Nothing.
you. It's such a pleasure.
Made
to
a lot of
be part
dust.
old-fashioned courtesy.
But you must
Not
admit,
like the young people
it's
today.
absolutely
You should buy it for
extraordinary.
me.
Thank
A
you very much
rhinoceros
for
lives
hosting
in the
There,
town.
come to you, pardon the way.
No, thank you. My husband is waiting
It's
for me.
unthinkable, that's what it
Perhaps
is.
some other time.
It's
I
absolutely
sincerely
unthinkable.
hope so, madame.
So do I.
2 brandies.
Delightful creature.
You are
I'm
absolutely
going to explain to you what a
incorrigible.
syllogism
I asked for mineral water. They made a mistake.
is. A syllogism consists of a main proposition, a secondary one, and the conclusion.
What conclusion?
It's unthinkable. A rhinoceros, loose in our town. I can't get over it. I can't get I absolutely cannot get over it. A rhinoceros, I can't get over it.
I can see you can't. So? It's a rhinoceros. It's miles away by now. Miles away.
But you must see, it's absolutely fantastic. A rhinoceros loose in the town, and you don't bat an eyelid. Put your hand in front of your mouth. It shouldn't be allowed.
It shouldn't be allowed. Don't worry about it. Won't get us here.
We ought to protest to the town council. I mean, what's the council there for, anyway?
Excuse me. Perhaps it's escape from the zoo.
You're daydreaming.
But I'm wide awake.
Awake or asleep, it's the same thing.
There is some difference.
No, that's not the point.
You just said being awake and asleep were the same
No,
thing.
you didn't understand what I meant. There's no difference between dreaming awake and dreaming asleep.
I do dream. Life is a
Well,
dream.
you're certainly dreaming if you think the rhinoceros escaped from the zoo.
I only said perhaps.
Because there's been no zoo in our town since the animals were destroyed in the plague ages ago.
Perhaps it escaped from the
What
circus.
circus are you talking about?
I don't know, some traveling
You know
circus.
perfectly well that the council banned all traveling performers from the district. There haven't been any since we were children.
Perhaps it's been hiding ever since in the surrounding swamps.
The surrounding swamps. The surrounding swamps. My friend, you live in a thick haze of alcohol.
It's true. It's in my mouth and my stomach.
Well, it's clouding your brain. Where do you know of any surrounding swamps? This is the desert.
Then maybe it's been hiding under a stone or nesting in some withered
If
branch.
you think you're being witty, you're very much mistaken. You're just being a bore with your stupid paradoxes. You're incapable of talking seriously.
Today? Yeah, only today.
Today, just the same as any other day.
Quite as much.
Oh, your witticisms aren't very inspired.
I wasn't trying to be inspired.
I can't bear people to try and make fun of me.
My dear John, I never allow
My
myself.
dear Herringer, you are allowing yourself to.
No, I would never allow
Oh,
myself.
yes, you have. You've just done so.
How could you possibly think
I
that
think what is true,
I assure you
that you were making fun of me.
You really can be obstinate sometimes.
And now you're calling me a mule into the bargain? Even you must see how insulting you're
It
being.
would have never crossed my mind.
You have no mind.
All the more reason why it would have never crossed it.
There are some things, my dear sir, which enter the minds of even people without one.
Impossible.
And why, pray, is it impossible?
Because it's
Then
impossible.
kindly explain to me why it's impossible, as you seem to imagine you can explain everything.
I don't imagine anything of the sort.
Then why do you act as if you do? And I repeat, why are you being so insulting to me?
I'm not insulting you. Far from it, you know what tremendous respect I have for you.
Then why do you contradict me, making up that it's not dangerous to let a rhinoceros go racing about the town on Sundays when the streets are full of children and adults
None of them are in
too?
church. They don't
Will you let me finish? And in tourist season too.
Yeah. I never said it wasn't dangerous to let a rhinoceros go racing about the town. I simply said I never considered the danger. It never crossed my mind.
You never consider anything.
All right. I agree. A rhinoceros roaming about is not a good thing.
It shouldn't be allowed.
I agree. It shouldn't be allowed. It's no reason for you and me to quarrel. And why go on at me just because some stupid quadruped happens to pass by? Some wretched chrysodactyl. Not even worth talking about. Sorry you disappeared. we're not going to talk about some animal which doesn't exist, are we? I mean, let's talk about something else, Jean, please. There are plenty of other topics of conversation. To you.
Put that glass back on the table. You're not to drink it.
There's no reason to leave it for the proprietor.
Put it back on the table.
There's Daisy! I don't want her to see me like this, Jean.
Your behavior is absolutely incorrigible.
Be quiet.
Why are you afraid of that young girl?
I don't want her to see me in this state.
She doesn't look like an unpleasant person.
I'm sorry for spilling.
You see what comes of your drinking? You've no strength left in your limbs. You're besotted and fagged out. You're digging your own grave, my friend. You're absolutely destroying yourself.
I don't like the taste of alcohol much. Yeah, if I don't drink, I'm done for.
It's as if I'm frightened. So I drink not to be frightened any longer.
Frightened of what?
I'm not exactly sure. It's a sort of anguish, difficult to describe. I feel out of place in life, among people. So I take the drink, calms me down, relaxes me so that I can forget.
You try to escape from yourself.
I'm so tired. I've been tired for years. And it's exhausting just to drag the weight of my own body about.
That's alcoholic neurasthenia. It's called drinker's
It's
blues.
as if my body was made of lead. As if I were carrying around some other man on my back. I can't seem to get used to myself. I don't even know if I am me. Then, as soon as I take a drink, the lead slips away. And I recognize myself. I become me again.
That's just being fanciful. Look at me,
Here, it's an
Barringer.
example.
I feel light. I feel light as a feather.
Oh, look out!
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No harm done.
No harm done. Thank you.
You certainly are strong.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm strong. I'm strong for several reasons. In the first place, I'm strong because I'm naturally strong. I'm also strong because I have moral strength. I'm also strong because I'm not riddled with alcohol. I don't wish to offend you, my dear Barringer, but I feel I must tell you it's alcohol which weighs so heavily on you.
Here is a syllogism. All cats have 4 paws. Isidore
I've barely
and
got the
Frykot have
strength
4
to go
paws.
on living.
Therefore, Isidore and Frykot
Maybe I don't
are
even
cats.
want to.
My dog has got 4 paws.
Solitude seems to oppress me.
Then it's a cat.
So does the company of other
So
people.
then, logically
Contradict
speaking,
yourself.
my
What
dog
oppresses
must
you?
be a
Solitude
cat?
in the company of others.
Logically,
You
yes.
consider
but the
yourself a
contrary
thinker,
is
yet
also
you're
true.
devoid of logic.
Logic is a very beautiful thing.
Life is an abnormal business.
As long as it is not abused.
On the contrary, nothing could be more natural, and the proof is people go on living.
Another syllogism. All cats die.
There are more
Socrates
dead
is
people
dead.
than living.
Therefore,
Their numbers are
Socrates is a
increasing.
cat.
The living are
And he's
getting
got
rarer.
4 paws. That's true. I have a cat
The
named
dead don't
Socrates.
exist. There's no
There
getting
you
away
are,
from that.
see?
Yet you're oppressed by them too. How can you be oppressed by something that doesn't exist?
Socrates was a cat, was he?
Sometimes wonder if I exist myself.
Logic has just revealed the fact to us.
You don't exist, my dear Barringer, because you don't think. Start
Let's get
thinking,
back to our
and
cats.
you will.
I'm all ears.
The cat, Isidore,
Fundamentally, you're
has
just
4
a bluffer
paws.
and a
How do you
liar.
know?
You say that life
It's
doesn't
stated
interest
in
you,
the hypothesis.
and yet there's someone.
Ah, the hypothesis.
Oh yeah?
The
Who?
cat, Isidore, also has 4
Your little
paws.
friend
How
from
many
the
paws
office
does
who went by
Frykot
just
Isidore?
now. You're very fond of her.
At any rate, she's already got her eye on someone else.
Separately or together?
Oh, who?
Some guy at the office. She seems to really like him. I don't stand a chance.
Separately or together.
So you're
all
giving up,
depends.
just like that.
What else can I do?
Eight
It's a struggle,
paws.
my friend. It's
Logic
cowardly
involves
not to put up a
mental
fight.
arithmetic.
It certainly has many
What
aspects.
can I put up a fight with?
There
You
are
have
no
to
limits
find
to
yourself
logic.
some weapons.
Weapons? Where can I find the weapons?
Within yourself, through your own will.
What
I'm
weapons?
going to show
The
you.
weapons of patience and culture. The weapons of the mind. Turn yourself into a keen and brilliant intellect. Get yourself up to the mark.
If I take 6 paws away from these 2 cats, how many
How do
paws
I get
are left
myself
to
up
eat?
to the mark?
That's not so easy.
On the contrary, it's simple.
It may be simple for you, but not for me.
Come on. Exercise your will. Concentrate.
I don't see
I
how.
really don't see how.
You have to be told everything.
Take a sheet
This
of
is what you
paper
have to
and
do.
calculate.
First of
If
all,
you take
get yourself a
6
nice
paws
clean
away from
shirt.
these 2
Laundry's
cats,
so
how many
expensive.
paws are left to eat?
just a moment. There are several possible solutions.
This is the way to come out. Wear a jacket like this, a tie like this one, shoes just like these.
Then what do I do? Tell me.
Tell me.
I'm listening.
You're a timid creature, but not without talent.
I've got talent.
We could have
So
one
use it.
cat with
Put yourself
4
in the picture.
paws.
Keep abreast of
And
the
one
cultural
cat
and
with
literary
2
events of the
paws.
time.
You've got talent. You just need to exercise it.
I have so little spare time.
Take advantage
I've
of what
never
free
had
you
the
do
time.
have.
I was
Don't just let
official,
yourself
you know.
drift.
It's too late.
It's a bit too late in the day for me.
It's never
too late to learn.
Look, you work during the week, but not on weekends nor in the
Well,
summer.
what about
That's
some
quite
other
sufficient with a
solutions? Use
little method.
A little method.
Instead of squandering all your spare money on drink, isn't it better to go to an interesting play? You can use your free time constructively.
How do you...
Museums, read literary periodicals, go to lectures. That'll develop your mind.
You're right.
Oh, we could have one cat with 5
Instead of
paws.
spending all your money on
And
alcohol,
one cat with 1
go see
paw.
an interesting play.
But would they
Do you know
still be
anything
cats
about
then?
avant-garde theater there's
In
so
that
much talk
case,
about?
one cat would
Have
be
you seen
especially
Ionesco's
privileged.
plays?
Fortunately, no. I've only heard people talking about
Well,
it.
there's one playing right now. Take advantage of it.
We could also have one
That
cat
would be an excellent initiation
with
into
6
the artistic
paws
life of our times.
and one cat with no paws at all.
You're right. I'm going to put myself in the picture, like you said. I promise you.
You promise yourself, that's the main thing.
I promise myself. I make a solemn promise to myself.
That
My word
would be
to myself.
unjust and therefore not logical.
Not logical?
Stop drinking. I'll develop my mind. My head feels better already. My mind feels clearer.
You see?
Because logic means justice.
This afternoon I'll go to the...
I get it.
I'll book
Justice.
seats for the theater this evening.
Justice
Will you come with
is
me?
one more
You
aspect
must
of
persevere.
logic.
Keep up your good resolutions.
I will. I promise myself. But will you come with me to the museum this afternoon?
No, not this afternoon. I have to take a rest this afternoon. It's in my program for the day.
But you will come to the theater this evening.
No, not this evening.
Your mind is getting clearer.
I sincerely hope you'll keep up your good resolutions, but this evening I have to go meet some friends for a drink.
For a drink?
I've promised to go. I always keep my word.
What's more, a cat
I
with
don't
no
know
paws
this.
at all
Bad example.
wouldn't be able to run
It's not the
fast
same thing
enough
as
to
with you,
catch
know.
mice.
It's not the same thing at all.
Why isn't it the same thing?
Because I'm no drunkard, not me.
I didn't say you were a drunkard, but why would it make me one any more than you in a case like
Because
that?
there's moderation in all things. I am a moderate person, not like you.
It's in its nature.
What? What's in
I said, what's going on?
Don't just stand there, clean up this mess.
You mustn't cry like that. It's too heartbreaking.
That's going too far.
Oh, you must excuse me,
What
Miss
can you
Gates.
do, dear lady?
I haven't even
Cats
had
are
a chance
only
to
mortal.
shave.
What do you expect, madame? All cats are mortal. One must accept that.
My poor little pussy. My poor little...
Throw that in the trash. You owe me $20.
Don't upset yourself.
Please, try not to upset yourself, dear lady.
It's very upsetting to think like that.
Oh, sit down over here, dear
What did you think of that?
Well, what do you think of that?
Sit down.
Oh, the poor woman.
Poor cat.
A glass of water for the lady.
Oh, you better get her brandy.
A brandy. The gentleman is paying.
One brandy. Right.
I don't want any. I don't want anything.
It went past my shop a little while ago.
No, it wasn't the same one.
But yes, it was the same one.
No, it was not the same
Here's a
rhinoceros.
drop of
The one that
brandy.
my first
Put it
had
together.
one horn on its nose. It was an Asiatic rhinoceros. That one there had 2 horns on its nose.
Go on, drink it. Make her drink it.
You're talking nonsense.
Let's go on.
How could you possibly tell about the horns?
There, you see?
Flash past at such a speed, we hardly even saw it.
Very true, it did go fast.
I've got another cat you can
Squirrel was traveling in a cloud of dust.
One could see all the better.
What nonsense!
What? You dare accuse me of talking nonsense?
Yes! Absolute blithering nonsense.
I have never talked nonsense in my life.
You're just a pretentious show-off. A pedant.
Gentlemen.
What's more, a pedant who's not certain of the facts. Because in the first place, it's the African rhinoceros with 2 horns on its nose, and it's the Asiatic rhinoceros with only 1.
No, it's not. It's the other way about.
You want to make a bet? We don't want any scenes here.
I'm not betting with you. If anyone has 2 horns, it's you, you Asiatic Mongol.
Oh, right. Nonsense, it's just a bet.
Now look here, what kind of rhinoceros has 1 horn?
I've got no horns.
You're a traitor.
And I never will have.
Yes, you should
Yes,
know.
you have.
I'm not Asiatic either. Anyway, Asiatics are people like everyone else.
Yes, Asiatics are people the same as we are.
Who's that?
It's true, they're the same as we are.
They're yellow. Goodbye, gentlemen. You I will not deign to include.
Wait a minute, Jonathan, you too, Berenger.
You know, I once had some friends who were Asiatics, but perhaps they weren't real ones.
Oh, I've known some.
I had an Asiatic friend once.
They're yellow, I tell you. Bright yellow.
Well, whatever they are, you're bright red!
Oh, well, if that's the way you feel, I'm not wasting my time with a fool like you. You drunkard.
I'm not gonna stand for that!
You know, there are white Asiatics as well, and black, and blue, and even some like us.
You shouldn't have made him angry.
It wasn't my fault.
Why don't you go get a coffin for the cat?
I think you were right. It's the Asiatic rhinoceros with 2 horns, and the African with 1.
But he was saying the opposite.
You were both wrong.
If you don't
Even
mind
so,
saying
you
so.
were
No, I
right.
think you're absolutely right.
Daisy's right.
Come with us. We're
She
going
never
to put in a
contradicted
little
him.
box. No.
Would you like me to come with you?
No,
Never
don't you
contradicted
bother.
him.
Do it.
The slightest
Oh, you
thing
guys
makes
have to be
it
different
view.
from everybody
No,
else.
Aaron is right. It's the African rhinoceros with 2 horns. The
His
Asiatic
temper's
with
his
2
only
and
fault.
vice versa.
Maybe they're
Oh,
both
you're
the
mistaken.
same.
Deep down, he's got a heart.
I'm very sorry, I'm
He's
sure.
done me many a good turn.
If the one has 2 horns,
I'm
the
sorry
other
I
one
wasn't more
must have
accommodating.
Perhaps it's
Why is he so obstinate?
2 and the 1 with 1.
I didn't mean to exasperate him. He's always making fantastic statements. He's always trying to dazzle people with his knowledge. He never will admit that he's wrong.
Have you any proof
Proof of what?
of the statement you made just now which started the unfortunate row with your friend?
Yes, have you any proof?
How do you know that the one rhinoceros has 1 horn and the other 2, and which is
He
which?
doesn't know any more than we do.
In the first place, we don't know that there was 2. I myself believe that there was only 1.
Well, let's say there were 2. Does the 1 horn one come from Asia?
No, it's one from Africa with 2, I think.
Which is 2 horns?
Agree, it's not the one from Africa.
Well, the problem must be cleared up.
Excuse me, gentlemen, for interrupting, but that is not the question. Allow me to introduce myself.
My friend, the
Professional
logician.
Oh,
Logician.
My car.
Great honor.
Agreed on it for all of us.
Would you mind telling us then, ma'am, if the one from Africa is 1 horn?
Or bicorn.
Is the Asiatic rhinoceros bicorn or unicorns?
Exactly. That is not the question. Let me make myself clear.
But it's still what we want to find out.
Kindly allow me to speak, gentlemen.
Let her speak.
First chance to speak.
I'm addressing you in particular, and all others as present as well.
Us as well?
You see, you have gotten away from the problem which instigated the debate. In the first place, you were deliberating on whether or not the rhinoceros that passed by just now was the same rhinoceros that passed by earlier, or whether it's another. That is the question to decide.
Yeah, but how?
Thus, you may have seen on 2 occasions a single rhinoceros bearing a single horn.
On 2 occasions.
Or you may have seen on 2 occasions one rhinoceros with 2 horns.
1 rhinoceros with 2
Exactly.
horns
Or you
on
may
2
have
occasions.
seen one rhinoceros with 1 horn and then another also with a single horn. Or again, you may have seen one rhinoceros with 2 horns followed by a second with 2.
With 2.
Now, if you had seen,
No,
Yes,
we've
if
seen-
we
if
see.
on the first occasion you had seen one rhinoceros with 2 horns,
With 2
and on the
horns.
second occasion one rhinoceros with 1 horn, that would not be conclusive either.
Even that
For it
wouldn't
is
be
possible that
conclusive.
since its
Why not?
first
I
appearance,
don't
the
want to
rhinoceros
get it
may
all.
have lost
Go
one
on.
of its horns, so that the first and second transit were still made by a single beast.
Ah, I
It
see.
may also
Don't
be
interrupt.
that 2 rhinoceroses Asiatic or African,
Asiatic or
we
African.
could then conclude that we are dealing with two different rhinoceroses, for it is hardly likely that a horn could grow sufficiently in the space of a few minutes to be visible on the nose of a rhinoceros.
It's hardly
That
likely.
would imply one rhinoceros, either Asiatic or African, and one rhinoceros, African or Asiatic. For good logic, cannot entertain the possibility that the same creature be born in two places at the same time,
Or even successively.
which was to be proved.
Well, that seems clear enough. It doesn't answer the question.
Obviously, my dear sir. But now the question is correctly posed.
It's quite logical. Quite logical.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Oh, goodbye, gentlemen.
It may be logical. It may be logical, but are we going to stand for our cats being run down under our very eyes by one-horned rhinoceroses or two, whether they're Asiatic or African?
She's absolutely right. We're not standing for our cats being run down in the street by a rhinoceri or anything else.
We're not standing for it. Are you coming in? The customers will be here any minute.
Should
We're
never
not going to stand
quarrel
for
with
it.
Jean. Give me a brandy, the double. Should never quarrel with Jean. The slightest disagreement makes him fume. I feel too upset to go to the museum. Cultivate my mind some other time.
It's all a lot of made-up nonsense.
But I saw it. I saw the rhinoceros.
It's in the paper, in black and white. You can't deny that. It's all here, down there in the dead cats column. Read it for yourself, Chief.
Yesterday, just before lunchtime, in the plaza of our town, a cat was trampled to death by a pachyderm.
It wasn't exactly in the plaza.
That's all it says, no other details.
Well, that's clear enough.
I never believe journalists. They're all liars. I don't need them to tell me what to think. I believe what I see with my own eyes. I like things to be precise and scientifically valid. I've got a methodical mind.
What's a methodical mind got to do with it?
I think it's stated very precisely, Botard.
You call it precise? What does it mean by a pachyderm? What, pray, does the editor of a dead cat's column mean by a pachyderm? He doesn't say. And what does he mean by a cat?
Everybody knows what a cat is.
Does it concern a male cat or a female cat? What breed and what color? The color bar is something I feel strongly about. I hate it.
What does the color bar got to do with it, Mr. Batard? It's quite beside the point.
Please forgive me, Chief, but you can't deny that the color problem is one of the greatest stumbling blocks of our time.
I know that. We all know that. But it has
It's
nothing
not an
to
issue
do.
to be dismissed lightly, Dudard. The course of history is
I
shown.
tell you, it doesn't enter into it.
I'm not so sure.
The color bar is not the issue at stake here.
One should never miss an occasion to denounce it.
Botard, we all told you. None of us is in favor of a color bar. You're obscuring the issue. It's simply a question of a cat being run over by a pachyderm. In this case, a rhinoceros.
Perhaps it was merely a flea run over by a mouse. People make mountains out of molehills.
Did you yourself with your own eyes see a rhinoceros strolling through the streets of our town?
It didn't stroll, it ran.
No, I didn't see it personally. But a lot of very reliable people
It's
see
obvious they were just making it up. You put too much trust in these journalists. They don't care what they invent to sell or wretched newspapers and please the bosses they serve. You mean to tell me that they've taken you in? Forgive me for laughing. Ha! Ha!
But I saw it. I saw the rhinoceros.
Way with you, I thought you were a sensible girl.
Botard, I can see straight, and I wasn't the only one there. There were plenty of other people watching.
They were probably watching something else. A few idlers with nothing to do. Work-shy loafers.
it happened yesterday, Sunday.
Well, I work on Sundays. I have no time for priests who do their utmost just to get you to church, to keep you from working and earning your daily bread by the sweat of your brow. Oh! Please, forgive me, Chief. The fact that I despise religion doesn't mean that I don't esteem it highly. But anyways, do you you know what a rhinoceros looks like?
It's a very big, ugly animal.
And you pride yourself on your precise thinking. The rhinoceros, my dear
There's
young
no
lady.
need for a lecture on the rhinoceros here. We're not in school.
That's a pity.
Good morning, Mr. Papillon.
I campaigned against ignorance wherever I find it.
Morning.
No matter where.
Morning, Dudard.
Well, Berenger, did you see the rhinoceros?
Yeah, I saw it all right.
So you see, I'm not mad after all.
Oh, Berenger says that out of chivalry. He's a very chivalrous man, even if he doesn't look it.
What's chivalrous about saying you've seen a rhinoceros?
A lot. When it's said to bolster up a fantastic statement by Miss Daisy. Everyone is chivalrous to Daisy. It's quite understandable.
Don't twist the facts, Mr. Batard. Mr. Berenger took no part in the argument. He's only just arrived.
But you did see it, didn't you? We both did.
Perhaps Berenger simply thought he saw a rhinoceros. He's got such a vivid imagination. Anything's possible with him.
I wasn't alone when I saw the rhinoceros. Perhaps there were two.
He doesn't even know how many he saw.
I was with my friend Jean. And other people were there as well.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
It was a unicorn rhinoceros.
They're in league, the two of them, to have us on.
I'd rather think it had two horns, from what I've heard.
Yes. You'd better make up your mind.
Come on, gentlemen. Time's getting on.
Well, Berenger, I must ask. Did you see one rhinoceros or two rhinoceroses?
It's hard to say.
You don't know. Daisy saw one unicorn rhinoceros. What about your rhinoceros, Berenger? If indeed there was one, did it have one horn or two?
Well, that's the whole problem.
It's all very dubious.
Oh.
I don't mean to be offensive, but I don't believe a word of it. No rhinoceros has ever been seen in this country.
There's a first time for everything.
It has never been seen except in schoolbook illustrations. Your rhinoceros is a flower of some washerwoman's imagination.
The word flower applied to a rhinoceros seems a bit out of place.
Very true.
And your rhinoceros is a myth.
A myth?
I think it's high time we started to work.
Yes, a myth like flying saucers.
Nevertheless, a cat was trampled to death. That you can't deny.
I was a witness to that.
In front of witnesses.
Yes, and what a witness.
Come on, come on.
An example of collective psychosis, Dudard. Just like religion, the opiate of the people.
I believe flying saucers exist.
Gentlemen, rhinoceros or no rhinoceros, saucers or no saucers, work must go on. You're not paid to waste your time arguing about real or imaginary animals.
Imaginary.
Real. Very real.
I say I can
I remind you, we are working hours and I am putting an end to this futile discussion.
Very well, Mr. Papillon. You are the chief. Your wishes are our commands.
Miss Goddard, how is your report on the alcoholic repression law coming along?
I'm just finishing it off, sir.
Good, then do so. It's very urgent. Mr. Berenger and Mr. Batard, have you finished correcting the proofs of the wine trade control regulations?
Not yet, Mr. Papillon, but we're well on the way.
Well, then finish them all together. The printers are waiting. And Miss Daisy, you bring the letters to my office for signature. Hurry up and get them typed.
Yes, sir.
I shall see you shortly, gentlemen.
It's all a hoax.
What's all a hoax?
Your rhinoceros business, of course. You've been making up all this propaganda to get these rumors started.
What propaganda?
There's no question of any propaganda.
Do I have to tell you again? I saw it. I really did.
You
And
make
others
me
did
laugh.
too.
Propaganda. Propaganda for what?
Oh, you know more about it than I do. Don't make out that you're so innocent.
At any rate, Botard, I'm not in the pay of some furtive underground organization.
That's an insult. I'm not standing for that.
Oh, now,
Dudard.
I tell you, it's an insult.
Is Mr. Booth not in today?
No, he isn't here.
Just when I needed him. Did he let anyone know he was ill or couldn't come in?
He didn't tell me anything.
This isn't the first time he's played me this trick. Up until now I haven't said anything, but it's not going on like this.
Oh, here's Mrs.
Morning, Miss Booth. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Papillon. Good morning, everyone.
Well, that's your husband. What's happened to him? Is it too much trouble for him to come in anymore?
Please excuse my husband. He went to visit his family. Oh, he's got a touch of flu. Oh.
So he's got a touch of flu, has he?
Oh, he said so on the machine. He hopes to be back on Wednesday. Oh, could I have a glass of water and sit down?
Absolutely.
Get her a glass of water.
Strictly, she wants to be harsh.
It's a great nuisance that Mr. Booth can't come in, but it's no reason for you to go to pieces.
It's not. I was chased here all the way from the house by a rhinoceros.
How many horns did it have?
Don't make me laugh.
No chance to speak.
It's down there by the entrance. The one that's got us here.
Calm down. I can't see a thing. It's an illusion.
Of course, there's one down there. Turning round and round. You can't get up here. There's a staircase.
Something is definitely down there.
What do you mean by something?
It's obviously a rhinoceros. That's what you saw before.
Definitely.
Look, it's got 2 horns. It's an African rhinoceros. Or Asiatic, rather. I don't know, does the African have 1 horn or 2?
Oh, it's trumpeting and going round and round.
I shouldn't try to stroke it. It's probably tame.
In any case, it's out of reach.
Poor thing.
Hey, you're very well informed. I think it's the ones with 2 horns. They come from Africa.
What are you going on about, Benji? You're still a bit under the weather, and Mr. Vitard was right.
How can it be in a civilized country?
But does it exist or not?
It's all an infamous plot. It's all your fault.
Why mine rather than yours?
Oh, mine. Oh, I see. It's always the little people who get the blame.
Calm
Calm down. This is no time to quarrel. I want to know how we're getting out of here.
Take you in my arms, and we'll float down together.
Keep your hands on my face, you.
Oh my God! It can't be true! Look! It's my husband! Oh,
Are you positive?
I recognize him! I recognize him!
This time he's fired!
It's you. Insurance that he
Carry over here!
Watch yourself, Mrs. Wolf.
Oh, darling! I don't like that!
Any better than that? She's looking out. Yeah.
You can count on my support, Mrs. Wolf.
It's going to be late again.
We're getting out of here.
It is a problem.
It is way too high.
Well, perhaps we ought to call the fire department and get them to make some ladders.
Good idea.
Miss Stacy, go to my office and telephone the fire department.
I know where it came from.
I can't desert him! I can't desert him now!
Well, you don't have to force them. You'd be perfectly justified.
You would be the injured party.
No! This is not the moment for that! I won't abandon my husband in such a state!
You're a good woman.
What are you going to do?
I can't leave him! I can't leave him now!
Hold her back.
I'm taking him home!
What you trying to do?
I'm coming with them!
She's got to go!
She can't do that.
On her duties.
I couldn't hold her back!
She's landed on his head in the saddle. They're off at a gallop. Ever done any riding?
A bit, a long time ago. She's still on the telephone.
They're already a long way off. They're out of
I
sight.
had trouble getting the firemen.
Fine state of affairs we're in.
I had trouble getting the firemen.
What, are the fires all over the place then?
I agree with Mr. Botard. Mrs. Booth's attitude is very moving. She's a woman of feeling.
No, there aren't other fires. The firemen have been called out for other rhinoceroses.
Other rhinoceroses?
Yes, other rhinoceroses. This morning there were 7, and now there are 17.
What did I tell you?
As many as 32 have been reported. They're not official, but they're bound to be confirmed.
They always exaggerate.
Are they coming to get us out of here?
They're on their way.
I'm hungry.
What about work?
It looks as if it's out of our hands.
No, we'll have to make up for the lost time.
Well, Mr. Botard, you still deny all rhinocerotic evidence?
No, I do not deny the rhinocerotic evidence. I never have.
That's not
That's
true.
not true, Botard.
I repeat, I have never denied it. I just wanted to see where it was all leading to. You see, I'm not content to simply state that a phenomenon exists. I make it my business to understand it and explain it. At least I could explain.
Then explain it to us.
Explain it, Botard.
Yes, explain it when your colleagues ask.
I will explain.
We're all listening.
I'm most curious.
I'll explain it one day.
Why not now?
We'll go over the details later in private, Mr. Papillon. I know the whys and the wherefores of this whole business.
What wise?
What wherefores?
I'd give a lot to know these whys and wherefores.
And I know the names of those responsible, the names of the traitors. You can't fool me. I'll let you know the purpose and the meaning of this whole plot. I'll unmask the perpetrators.
But who'd want to cause
You're
such
evading
problems?
the question, Mr. Botard.
Let's have no evasions.
Evading? What? Me?
Just now you accused us of suffering from hallucinations.
Just now, yes. But now you see the hallucination has become a provocation.
Now do you consider this change came about?
It's an open secret. Even the man in the street knows about it. Only hypocrites pretend not to.
There's the firemen.
There's gonna be some big changes made around here. They can't get away with it as easily as that.
That doesn't mean anything, Botard. The rhinoceroses exist, and that's that. That's all there is to it.
I want you all back in the office this afternoon.
After you, Miss Daisy.
Bye. See you soon.
Miss Daisy, call me tomorrow morning. You can conduct the letters at my house.
Oh,
Mr. Barringer, I remind you, we're not on vacation. Work will resume as soon as possible. That goes for the both of you as well.
of course, Mr. Papillon.
That's right. He'll go on exploiting until you drop.
Go on.
After you, Mr. Papillon.
You, Chief.
Yes, you first, of course.
Goodbye, gentlemen. Please be careful my documents and papers. Miss Tudor, do lock up the office.
Of course, don't worry about a thing. After you, Mr. Botard.
Gentlemen, I'm about to descend. I'm going to take this matter up immediately with the proper authorities. I'll get down to the bottom of this so-called mystery.
I thought it was all perfectly clear to you.
Your irony doesn't affect me. What I'm after are the proofs and the documents. Yes, proof positive of your treason.
That's absurd.
Your insults have been proof enough to me.
It's you who are insulting me.
I do not insult. I merely prove.
But what are you doing later? Would you like to go for coffee?
I'm sorry, I can't. Taking advantage of this afternoon off to go see my friend Jean. I do want to make it up with him after all. We got carried away. It's my fault. After you.
Oh no, after you.
After you, please.
Oh no, I insist. After you. After you.
Mr. Dart, after you.
No, Mr. Barringer. After you.
No, after you.
After you. Give me honor. After you.
It would be my honor.
No, after you. After you.
Please. After you.
After, please. After you.
What is it?
I dropped by to see you, Jean.
Who is it?
It's me, Barringer. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
No, it's you, is it? Come in.
Hello? Jean?
Oh, hold on a minute. Let me get the light. What time is it? Aren't you at the
You're
office?
still in bed. You're not at the office then. Sorry if I'm disturbing you.
It's funny, I didn't recognize your voice.
I didn't recognize yours either.
Sit down.
Aren't you feeling well?
Ugh.
You know, it was stupid of me to get so upset over a thing like that.
A thing like what?
Yesterday.
When yesterday? Where yesterday?
Don't you remember? It's about that wretched rhinoceros.
What rhinoceros?
That rhinoceros. Or rather, the two wretched rhinoceroses that we saw.
Oh yes, I remember. How do you know they were wretched?
Just said that.
Well, let's not talk any more about it.
That's very nice of you.
Then that's that.
But I would like to say how sorry I am for being so insistent and so obstinate and getting so angry. In fact, I acted stupidly.
Well, that's not surprising with you.
Well, I'm very sorry.
I don't feel very well.
That's probably why you're in bed. You know, as it turned out, we were both right.
About what?
About the same thing. Sorry to bring it up again. I'll only mention it briefly. I just wanted you to know that in our different ways, we're both right. It's been proved now. There are some rhinoceroses in the town with one horn, and some with two.
That's what I told you. Well, that's just too bad.
Yeah, too bad.
Or maybe it's all the good. It just depends.
Well, in the final analysis, it doesn't much matter which comes from where. And the important thing, as I see it, is that they're there at all. Because
I don't feel well. I don't feel well at all.
I'm sorry. Well, what do you think it is?
I don't know. There's something wrong somewhere.
Well, do you feel weak?
On the contrary, I feel full of beans.
I mean, just a passing weakness. It happens to everybody.
It never happens to me.
Perhaps you're too strong then. Too much energy can be a bad thing. It'll unsettle your nervous system.
My nervous system is in perfect order. I'm sound in mind and limb. I come from a long line.
Oh, I know you do. Perhaps you just caught a chill. Have you got a temperature?
Oh, maybe. Slight fever. Actually, my head hurts.
It's probably just a migraine or something. You'd probably like me to leave you alone.
No, stay! You don't worry me!
Your voice is hoarse, too.
Hoarse?
It's a bit hoarse. That's why I didn't recognize it.
Why should I be hoarse? My voice hasn't changed. It's yours that's changed.
Mine?
Why not?
Well, it's possible. I hadn't noticed.
I sometimes wonder if you're capable of noticing anything. Actually, it's my forehead that hurts. I must have given it a knock.
When did you do that?
I don't know. I don't remember it happening.
It must have hurt you.
I must have done it while I was asleep.
The shock would have waked you up. You must have just dreamed that you knocked.
I never dream.
Your headache must have come on while you were sleeping, and you've forgotten you dreamed. Rather, you only remember subconsciously.
Subconsciously? Me? I'm a master of my own thoughts. My mind doesn't wander. I think straight. I always think straight.
I know you do. I haven't made myself...
Then make yourself clear, and you needn't make any of your unpleasant observations to me.
One often has the impression that one has knocked oneself when one has a headache. I mean, if you really had a headache, you'd have a bump. I mean, if you knocked yourself, you know? You do.
What?
You do have a bump, in fact.
Where?
Right there, above your nose.
I have no bump. We've never had bumps in my family.
Have you got a mirror?
That's the limit. I can feel something. I'm going to have a look in the bathroom. Oh yeah, I do have a bump. So you see, I did knock myself.
You don't look very well. Your skin is weird.
Oh, you seem to delight in saying disagreeable things to me today. Have you taken a look at yourself recently?
Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
That's hard to believe.
Your breathing's very heavy. You got a sore throat? If you've got a sore throat, perhaps it's just a touch of quincy.
Why should I have a touch of quincy?
Well, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I sometimes get it myself. Let me check your pulse.
Oh, it'll pass.
Your pulse is normal. There's nothing to get alarmed at.
I'm not alarmed in the slightest. Why should I be?
You're right. A few days rest will put you straight.
I've no time to rest. I must go and buy some food.
Well, there can't be much wrong with you if you're hungry. But still, you ought to take a few days rest. It's wise to take care. Has the doctor been to see you?
I don't need a doctor.
But you ought to get a doctor.
You're not going to get the doctor, because I don't want the doctor. I can take care of myself.
You shouldn't reject medical advice.
Doctors invent illnesses that don't exist.
They do it in good faith, just for the pleasure of looking after people.
They invent illnesses. They invent them, I tell you.
Okay, perhaps they do, but after they invent them, they cure them.
I only have confidence in veterinary surgeons.
But your veins, they're swollen and jutting out.
It's a sign of virility.
It's a sign of health and strength.
What are you doing? Scrutinizing me as if I were some strange animal?
It's just that your skin.
What's my skin got to do with it? I don't go on about your skin, do I?
It just seems to be changing all the time. It's hardening as well.
Stop mauling me about! You're getting on my nerves!
Well, perhaps it's more serious than I thought. We gotta get the doctor.
No! What are you doing? Leave that thing alone! No!
All right, it's for your own good.
I know better than you what's good for me.
You're breathing very heavy.
One breathes as best one can. You don't like the way I breathe. I don't like the way you breathe. Your breathing's too feeble. It's as if you were going to drop dead at any moment.
I know I'm not as strong as you.
I don't keep trying to get you to the doctor, do I? Leave people to do as they please.
Don't get angry with me. You know very well I'm your friend.
There's no such thing as friendship. I don't believe in your friendship.
It's a very hurtful
There
thing
is
to
nothing
say.
for you to get hurt about.
My dear
I am
Jean.
not your dear Jean.
I'm certainly in a very misanthropic mood today.
Yes, I am misanthropic. Very misanthropic indeed. I like being misanthropic.
You're probably still upset at me over our silly quarrel yesterday. That's why I came to say I was sorry.
What quarrel are you talking about?
I told you just now about the rhinoceros.
It's not that I hate just indifferent. Or rather, they disgust me. And they better keep out of my way, or I'll run them down!
You know very well I shall never stand in your way.
I've got one aim in life, and I'm making straight for it!
I'm sure you are, but I feel you're passing through a moral crisis. You mustn't excite yourself like this. It's bad for you.
I felt uncomfortable in my clothes. Now my irritate me as well.
What's wrong with your skin?
Can't you leave my skin alone? I certainly wouldn't want to change it for yours.
It's just that it's going like leather, Jean.
That makes it more solid. It's weatherproof.
You are getting weirder and weirder.
You're seeing things. You've been drinking again.
I did yesterday, but not today.
It's the result of all your partying.
I promised you I would turn over a new leaf. I take notes when friends like you give me advice. And I never feel humiliated. On the contrary.
I don't care what you feel.
What did you say?
Nothing. I just went, because I felt like it.
Do you know what happened to Boof? He turned into a rhinoceros.
What happened to Buff?
He turned into a rhinoceros. Come on now, stop joking!
I can puff if I want to, can't I? I'm in my own house.
I didn't say you couldn't.
I shouldn't if I were you. I feel hot. I must go cool myself down.
He must have a fever. He's got the shivers. I'm jolly well going to phone the doctor.
So, old Buff turned into a rhinoceros, did he? He was having you on. He disguised himself. He was just disguised.
He looked very serious about it, I assure you.
Ah, well, that's his business.
He didn't do it on purpose. He didn't want to change.
How do you know, huh?
Everything led one to suppose so.
And what if he did it on purpose, eh? What if he did it on purpose?
Well, I'd be very surprised at any rate. Mrs. Boof didn't seem to know a thing about it.
Fat old Mrs. Buff. She's just a fool.
Fool or no fool.
So, Buff never let his wife know what he was up to, eh?
Very wrong there, Jean. It was a very united family.
Very united, was it? Are you sure?
Yes, very united. And the proof is...
Buff led his own private life. He had a secret side to him deep down, which he kept to himself.
I shouldn't make you talk. It seems to upset you.
On the contrary, it relaxes me.
Even so, let me call the doctor and
No,
help you.
I absolutely forbid it. I can't stand obstinate people. Well, whether he changes into a rhinoceros on purpose or against his will, he's probably all the better off.
I don't believe you'd say anything like that. Sure you don't think that he wanted...
You always see the black side of everything. It obviously gave him great pleasure to turn into a rhinoceros. There is nothing extraordinary in that.
There's nothing extraordinary in it, but I doubt if it gave him much pleasure.
Then why not pray?
No, it's just something you feel.
I tell you, it's not as bad as all that. After all, rhinoceroses are living creatures the same as we are. They have as much right to life as we do.
As long as they don't destroy ours in the process. You must admit the difference in mentality.
Are you under the impression that our way of life is somehow superior?
Well, at any rate, we have a set of moral standards which are incompatible with the standards of these
moral standards? I'm sick of moral standards. We need to go beyond moral standards.
What would you put in their place?
Nature.
Nature?
Nature has its own laws. Morality is against nature.
Are you suggesting we replace our moral laws with the law of the jungle?
That would suit me fine. Just fine.
You say that. And deep down,
We build our life on new foundations. We must get back to primeval integrity.
I don't agree with you at all.
I can't breathe.
Just think a moment, Jean. You must admit that we have a philosophy that these animals don't share, and an irreplaceable set of values which is
It's taken centuries of human civilization to build up.
When we've demolished all that, we'll be better off.
I don't believe you said that. You're joking. It's just a poetic fancy. I just never realized you were a poet. That's not what you believe fundamentally. I know you too well. You know as well as I do that mankind...
Don't talk to me about mankind.
I mean the human individual. Humanism.
Humanism is all washed up. You're a ridiculous, old sentimentalist.
You must admit that the mind is...
Cliches! Rubbish!
Rubbish!
Utter rubbish!
Really, Jean? I'm amazed to hear you say that. You wouldn't like to be a rhinoceros now, would you?
Why not? I'm not a victim of prejudice like you!
What did you say? I didn't catch what you said. Can you speak up?
Keep your ears open. I said, what's wrong with being a rhinoceros?
What?
I'm all for change.
What?
I said, what's wrong with being a rhinoceros? I'm all for change.
Jean, you're being ridiculous. You gotta calm down. You must be out of your mind. What's happening to you? Get a hold of yourself.
Hot. Far too hot. Demolish the lot.
Jean!
Close.
What?
Bitch.
Jean!
Bitch.
What are you doing? You're out of yourself. You're gonna be so honest.
The swamps. The swamps.
Jean! Can't you see me any longer? Can't you hear me?
You're showing perfectly well. I can hear you perfectly well.
Watch out!
Sorry.
Can't leave him like that. After all, he's a friend. I've got to get the doctor. It's absolutely necessary. Sean, you're being ridiculous. Calm down. Oh, you must be out of your mind. Sean, no. Your horn. It's getting longer and longer. You're a rhinoceros.
I'll kill you.
No! 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 Joe! 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 Oh my God!
not the same. What is it?
I've come to see you, Berenger.
Who is it?
It's me.
Who's me?
Me, Dudard.
Oh, it's you. Come in.
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Hello, Dudard. What time is it?
So you're still barricaded in your room. Feeling any better?
Yes, I think I'm a bit better. But I didn't recognize your voice.
My voice hasn't changed. I recognized yours easily enough.
I'm sorry. You're right. Your voice is quite normal. Mine hasn't changed, has it?
Why should it have changed?
It's not a bit hoarse, is it?
Not that I notice.
It's good. It's very reassuring.
Why? What's the matter with you?
I don't know! Does one ever know? Voices can suddenly change. They do change.
Have you got cold as well?
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. But do sit down, Dudard.
Are you still feeling a bit off color? Is your head still bad?
Yes, my head's still bad. But I don't have a bump. I haven't knocked myself, have I?
No, there's no bump as far as I can see.
I hope there never will be. Never.
If you don't knock yourself, why should there be?
If you really don't want to knock yourself, then you don't.
Obviously. One just has to take care. Well, what's the matter with you, Berenger? You're all nervous and agitated. It must be your migraine. You just stay quiet and you'll feel better.
Migraine? Don't talk to me about migraines. Don't talk about them.
It's understandable you've got a migraine after all that emotion.
I can't seem to get over it.
Then it's not surprising you have a headache.
Something there. You know, it can all start from something like that.
What can all start?
I'm frightened of becoming someone else.
Calm yourself now and sit down. Dashing up and down the room like that can only make you more nervous.
You're right. I must calm down. I just can't get over it.
About Jean, you mean? I know.
Yes, about Jean and the others, too.
I realize it must have been a shock to you.
It's not surprising, you must admit.
Well, I suppose so. But you mustn't dramatize the situation. It's no reason for you to get so nervous and upset.
I wonder how you'd have felt. Jean was my best friend. And then, to watch him change like that, before my eyes. And the way he got so furious.
I know. You felt let down. I understand. But try to not think about it.
How could I help thinking about it? He was such a warm-hearted person. Always so human. Who would have thought it of him? We've known each other for years. He was the last person I expected to change like that. I felt more sure of him than of myself. And then, to go and do that to me.
I'm sure he didn't do it especially to annoy you.
Well, it seemed as if he did. If you'd seen the state he was in, and the expression on his
It's just
face.
that you happened to be with him at the time. It would have been the same no matter who was there.
You'd think that after all of our years together, he might have controlled himself in front of me.
You think everything revolves around you. You think everything that happens concerns you personally. Why, you're not the center of the universe, you know.
Perhaps you're right. I must try to readjust myself. The phenomenon in itself is so disturbing. To tell you the truth, it absolutely shatters me. What can be the explanation?
For the moment, I haven't found a satisfactory explanation. I observe the facts and take them in. They exist, so they must have an explanation. A freak of nature, perhaps? Some bizarre caprice? An extravagant joke? A game? Who knows?
Jean was very proud. Of course. I'm not ambitious at all. I'm content to be what I am.
Perhaps he felt an urge for some fresh air. The country, the wide open spaces. Perhaps he felt a need to relax. I'm not saying that's any excuse.
I understand what you mean. At least I'm trying to. But you know, if someone accused me of being a bad sport, or hopelessly middle class, or completely out of touch with reality, I would still want to stay as I am.
We'll all stay as we are. Don't worry. So why get upset over a few cases of rhinoceros? Perhaps it's just another disease.
Exactly. And I'm frightened of catching it.
There's still the epidemic theory. It's like influenza. It's not the first time there's been an epidemic.
There's never been one like this. What if it's come from some other country?
Any case, you can be sure that Booth and the others didn't do what they did, become what they became, just to annoy you. They wouldn't have gone to all that trouble.
That's true. That makes sense. It's a very reassuring thought. Or, on the other hand, maybe that makes it worse.
There! You see? There they are! Oh, why can't you leave them alone? They're not doing you any harm. Really, you're obsessed by them. It's not good for you. You're wearing yourself out. I would not want to look for more. You just concentrate on getting back to normal.
I wonder if I really am in you.
Any case, not for you. Certain illnesses are good for you. I'm convinced this is something you can cure if you want to. They'll get over it, you'll see.
But an organic upheaval like this, it can't help but leave certain after
It's
effects.
only temporary. I assure you.
Are you absolutely certain?
I think so. Yes, I suppose so.
If one doesn't want to, really doesn't want to catch this thing, which after all is a nervous disease, and you don't. You simply don't catch it. Would you like some brandy?
Oh, no, I never touch it. But don't mind me if you want some. You go ahead, don't worry about me. But watch out it doesn't make your headache worse.
Alcohol's good for epidemics. It immunizes you. It kills influenza microbes, for instance.
Perhaps it doesn't kill all microbes. They don't know about rhinoceros yet.
Jean never touched alcohol. He just pretended to. Maybe that's why. Maybe that explains his attitude. Are you sure you don't?
No, never before lunch, thank you. You see, you can't take it. It makes you cough.
It did make me cough. How did I cough?
Like anyone coughs when they drink something a bit strong.
There wasn't anything odd about it, was there? It was a real human cough.
What are you getting at? It was an ordinary human cough. What other sort of cough could it have been?
I don't know. Some animals cough?
Do rhinoceroses cough?
Look, Barringer, you're being ridiculous. You invent difficulties for yourself. You ask yourself the weirdest questions. I remember you said yourself that the best protection against the thing was willpower.
Yes, I did.
Then prove you've got some.
I have, I assure you.
Prove it to yourself. Now don't drink any more brandy. You'll feel more yourself then.
You deliberately misunderstand me. I told you that the only reason I take it is because it keeps the worst at bay. I'm doing it quite deliberately. I'd already decided to stop drinking before this whole business began. I'm just putting it off for the time being.
You're inventing excuses for yourself.
Think I am? Well, anyway, that's got nothing to do with what's happening now.
How do we know?
You think so? You think that's how the rot sets in? I'm not an alcoholic. You don't think, by chance, that... There's nothing there. It couldn't have done any harm. So
So it must have done good. Or it's harmless at any rate.
I was only joking. I was just teasing you. You see the black side of everything. Watch out or you'll become a neurotic. When you've got over your shock completely, and you can go out for a breath of fresh air, you'll feel better, you'll see. All these morbid ideas will vanish.
Go out? Suppose I'll have to. I'm dreading the moment. I'm bound to meet some of them.
What if you do? You only have to keep out of their way. And there aren't as many as all that.
They're all over the place. I suppose you'll say that's being morbid too.
Well, they don't attack you. If you leave them alone, they just ignore you. You can't say they're spiteful. They've even got a certain natural innocence, a sort of frankness. Besides, I walked right along the avenue to get to you today. I got here safe and sound, didn't I? No trouble at all.
Just the sight of them upsets me. It does something to me here.
Well, you've no sense of humor. That's your trouble. You must learn to be more detached and try and see the funny side of things.
What if it happened somewhere else? In some other country. We could just read about it in the papers. One could look at the question from all points of view. Come to an objective conclusion. We can organize debates. Professors, writers, lawyers, artists, and people. And the ordinary man in the street as well. It would all be very interesting and instructive. But when you're involved yourself, when you suddenly find yourself up against the brutal facts, you can't help but feel directly concerned. The shock is too violent for you to remain cool and detached. Frankly, I'm very surprised. I'm very, very surprised. I can't get over it.
Well, I'm surprised too. Or rather, I was. Now I'm starting to get used to it.
Your nervous system is better balanced than mine. You're lucky. But don't you admit it's all very unfortunate?
Oh, I don't say it's a good thing. And don't get the idea I'm on the Rhinoceros' side.
Oh! Not again! Please! I can't get used to them! Maybe it's wrong with me! They obsess me so much in spite of myself! I just can't sleep at night! I get insomnia! I go to it during the day out of sheer exhaustion!
Take some sleeping tablets.
That's not the answer. If I sleep, it's worse. Dream about them. I get nightmares.
That's what comes of taking things too seriously. You get a kick out of torturing yourself. Admit it.
I'm no masochist, I assure you.
Then face the facts and get over it. This is a situation and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's fatalism.
It's common sense. When a thing like this happens, there's bound to be a reason for it. That's what we have to find out.
I don't want to accept this situation.
What else can you do?
I'm not sure for the moment. I must think it over. I'll write to the papers, first of all. I'll draw manifestos. I'll apply for an audience with the mayor. Or the mayor's deputy. The mayor's too busy.
I consider it silly to get all worked up because a few people decide to change their skins. They just didn't feel happy in the ones they had. They're free to do as they like.
We must attack the evil at the roots.
Evil. That's just a phrase. Who knows what's evil and what's good? It's just a question of personal preferences. You're worried about your own skin, that's the truth of the matter. But you'll never turn into a rhinoceros. Really, you won't. You haven't got what it takes.
There you go, you see? If all of our leaders and fellow citizens all think like you, they'll never take any action. Did you receive my application for sick leave?
Oh, don't worry about that. It's all in order. In any case, the office hasn't resumed work yet.
What? Haven't they repaired this staircase yet? What negligence. That's why everything goes so badly.
Well, we haven't got a chief anymore. Mr. Papillon's resigned.
Impossible.
It's true, I assure you.
Well, I'm amazed. Was that on account of the staircase?
I don't think so. Anyway,
Why
that's
wasn't
not the reason he gave.
Why was it then?
He's retiring to the country.
Retiring? He's not the age. He might have still become director.
He's given it all up. He said he needed a rest.
I bet the management's pretty upset to see him go. They'll have to replace him. Your education should be useful. You stand a good chance.
I suppose I might as well tell you.
What?
Really, it's rather funny. The truth is, he's turned into a rhinoceros.
I don't believe it. Mr. Papillon? I don't think that's funny at all. How come you didn't tell me before?
Well, you know you've no sense of humor. I didn't tell you. Well, I didn't tell you because I knew you wouldn't see the funny side, and it would upset you. You know how impressionable you are.
That's awful. Mr. Papillon. And he had such a good job.
That proves his transformation was sincere.
He couldn't have done it on purpose. It must have been involuntary.
Well, how can we know? It's hard to know the real reasons for people's decisions.
He must have made a mistake. He had certain hidden complexes. He should have been psychoanalyzed. Still would have thought he would have had the strength to resist. I thought he had a bit more character. Botard must have taken a very poor view of it. What did he think of the chief's behavior?
Oh, poor old Botard was quite indignant. Absolutely outraged. His attitude was far too passionate, as usual, and therefore oversimplified. His stand seems to me entirely dictated by hatred of his superiors. That's where he gets his inferiority complex and his resentment. What's more, he talks in cliches, and commonplace arguments leave me cold.
Well, excuse me. But this time I'm in complete agreement with Botard. He's obviously someone worthwhile.
Oh, I don't deny it.
He's a very worthwhile person, and they're not easy to find these days. I deplore Mr. Papillon's action. Was his duty not to succumb?
How intolerant you are. Maybe Papillon felt the need for a little relaxation after all these years of office life.
And you're too tolerant. You're far too broad-minded.
My dear Berenger, one must always make an effort to understand. One has to start out favorably disposed, or at least impartial. One has to keep an open mind. That's essential to a scientific mentality. Everything is logical. To understand is to justify.
You'll be siding with the rhinoceroses before long.
No, I would never go that far. I'm simply trying to look the facts unemotionally in the face. I'm trying to be realistic. I also contend that there is no real evil in what occurs naturally.
You consider all of this natural?
What could be more natural than a rhinoceros?
Yes, but for a man to turn into a rhinoceros is abnormal beyond question.
Well, of course, that's a matter of opinion.
It's absolutely beyond question.
You seem very sure of yourself. Who can say where the normal stops and the abnormal begins? Can you personally define these conceptions of normality and abnormality? No one has solved this problem yet, either medically or philosophically. You ought to know that.
Everything you're saying is just gibberish. It's utter lunacy.
There again, we need to define exactly what we mean by lunacy.
Lunacy is lunacy, and that's all there is to it.
Calm down. Our opinions may not exactly coincide, but we can still discuss the matter peaceably. These things should be discussed.
You think I need to calm down, do you? Well, I might be Jean. No, I don't want to be like him. I feel you're in the wrong. I feel it instinctively.
That's not it. It's the rhinoceroses which have instinct.
I feel it intuitively. Yes, intuitively.
What do you mean by intuitive?
Intuitively means, well, just like that. I feel that your generous indulgence and your excessive tolerance, they're really only weaknesses. They're just blind spots.
You're innocent enough to think that.
You'll always be able to dance rings around me.
You know what? I'm going to try to get a hold of the logician.
What logician?
The logician, the philosopher. The logician. You know better than I do what a logician is. Logician who told me.
What did she tell you?
She told me that the African rhinoceros is Asiatic, and that the Asiatic rhinoceros is African.
Uh-huh.
No, she told me that the Asiatic rhinoceros is African, and that the African rhinoceros is Asiatic. No, I know what I mean. No, not again. No, go away. It's dead. There's a bow tie on that rhinoceros horn. It's the logician's bow tie. That's the bloody limit. The logician is a rhinoceros.
There's no reason to be caused.
Dear Lord, who can you turn to? The magician, the rhinoceros?
Where is she?
That one, there.
She's the only rhinoceros in a bow tie. That makes you think. You're sure it's your logician?
The magician is a rhinoceros.
She still retained a vestige of her old individuality.
I'll never join up with you. Not me.
She was a genuine thinker. I would say she couldn't have got carried away. She must have weighed all the pros and cons before deciding.
I'll never join you.
Yes, that certainly makes you think. Look at them, Behringer. They're going round and round. They're playing.
I'll never join up with you.
There's someone at the door, Behringer.
It's a disgrace. Masquerading like this. A disgrace.
There's someone knocking. Behringer, can't you hear?
Tell him to come in there if you want to.
Come in. Good morning. Ditar, it's you, Miss Daisy.
Is Behringer here? Is he feeling any better?
How nice to see you. Do you often visit Behringer?
Where is he?
There.
Oh, he's all on his own. Poor thing. He isn't very well at the moment. Somebody's got to give him a hand.
You're a good friend, Miss Daisy.
That's what I am, a good friend.
You've got a warm heart.
I'm a good friend, that's all.
Miss Daisy, how kind of you to come.
Certainly is.
Did you know, Miss Daisy, that the logician is turned into a rhinoceros?
Yes, I caught sight of her on the street as I arrived. She was running very fast for a woman of her age.
Don't you think it's frightful?
Are you feeling any better, Behringer?
Yes. My head's still bad, but I mean, isn't it frightful? What do you think about it?
I think you ought to be resting. You should take things quietly for a few more days.
I hope I'm not disturbing.
Oh, I meant about the logician.
Why should you be? About the logician, I don't think anything at all.
I thought I might be in the way.
I mean, what do you expect me to think? Oh, I've got news for you.
What?
Botards? A rhinoceros.
I don't
Well,
believe
well.
it. He was against it.
Well, he must have changed his mind. Everyone has a right to do that.
And obviously anything can happen. Did he give any reasons?
What he said was, we must move with the times. Those were his last human words.
Move with the times. The mentality. With childishness. Fool. Now, come to think it over, Batard's behavior doesn't really surprise me. His firmness was only opposed, which doesn't stop him from being a good man, of course. Good men make good rhinoceroses. Unfortunately, it's because they're so good that they get taken in.
Mind if I put my basket on
He
the
was
table?
a good man with a lot of resentment.
He was riddled with hatred for his superiors. He had an inferiority
Your
complex.
argument doesn't make sense. It was the example he followed with the chiefs, the very instrument of the people who exploited him. As he used to say, no, I think it was a case of community spirit triumphing over his anarchic impulses.
It's the rhinoceroses which are anarchic, because they're the minority.
They are, it's true. For the moment.
They're a pretty big minority, and getting bigger all the time. My cousin's a rhinoceros and his wife, not to mention celebrities like Madonna.
This is going to spread to other
and others.
To think it all started with us.
Maybe a quarter of the whole town.
A quarter? We're still in the majority. We must take advantage of that. We must do something before we're inundated.
They're very potent. Very.
For now, let's eat. I brought some food.
Oh, how kind of you, Miss Daisy.
How very kind indeed.
I don't know how to thank you.
You will be staying with us, won't you, Denard?
Oh, I'd hate to be a nuisance.
Whatever do you mean? You know perfectly well we'd love for you to stay.
Well, you know I don't want to be in the way.
Of course, stay, Denard. It's always a pleasure to talk with you.
As a matter of fact, I'm in a bit of a hurry. I have an appointment.
I had a lot of trouble getting this food. The shops have been plundered. They just devour everything. And some of the shops have been closed. It's written up outside, closed on account of transformation.
They should all be rounded up in a big enclosure and kept under strict supervision.
That's easier said than done. The Animals Protection League would be the first to object.
Besides, everyone has a close friend or a relative among them. That would make it even more difficult.
So everyone is mixed up in it?
Everyone's in the same boat.
But how can people be rhinoceroses? It doesn't bear thinking about.
I'm late for 3. You are staying with us, aren't you, Denard?
Of course, stay.
You get used to it, you know? Nobody seems surprised to see herds of rhinoceroses galloping through the streets. They just stand aside and carry on as if nothing has happened.
It's the wisest course to take.
Well, I can't get used to it.
For now, let's eat.
I wonder if one ought to give it a try.
What? I don't believe an intelligent woman like yourself. No, what's going on? No!
See what you can hear, all right? Well, then please, you won't pay any attention to them. Look, they're pouring up the streets.
Not too far! What's too far?
Streaming out of the courtyard.
And then the houses!
The windows as well. They're turning up in the others. There aren't enough of us left anymore.
It was one more. How many with two?
Statisticians are bound to be compiling statistics soon.
They can only calculate approximately. There's no time. There's no time to calculate.
Best thing is let the statisticians get on with it. You come and eat, and we'll calm you down. And you too.
I don't feel very hungry. Or rather, to be frank, I don't feel like tin food very much. I feel like eating outside. On the grass.
You mustn't do that. Now think of the risk.
But really, I don't want to put you in any trouble.
But we already told you, Bard.
I really mean it.
If you don't want to stay, then we can't force you.
She mustn't go. Don't let her go.
People must do as they please.
Man is superior to the
I didn't
rhinoceros.
say he wasn't. But I'm not with you absolutely either. Only experience can tell.
You're weakening, Nedard. It's just a passing phase, which you'll regret.
It's just a passing phase, and there's no great danger.
I feel it's my duty to stick by my employers and my friends. Through thick and thin.
It's not as if you're married to them.
I renounced marriage. I prefer the great universal family to the little domestic one.
We shall miss you a lot, Denard, but there's nothing we can do about it.
I feel it's my duty to stick by them. I have to do my duty.
No. You're wrong. Your duty is to oppose them with a firm and clear mind.
I shall keep my mind clear. As clear as it ever was. But if you're going to criticize them, better to do so from the inside. I'm not going to abandon them. I won't abandon them.
He's very good-hearted.
She's so good-hearted. You're too good-hearted. You're human. Don't let her go. No. She's human. Wait. Come back. Come back, Denard. We're fond of you. Don't go. Oh, it's too late.
It couldn't be anything.
Where is she?
With the...
Which one is she?
You can't tell. You can't recognize her anymore.
We can see nothing but them in the street. Nothing but them. You were wrong, Daisy. Not a single human being as far as the eye can see. They're all over the place. Half with one horn, half with two. That's the only distinction. I want so much to be a comfort to you. I love you, Daisy. Don't ever leave me.
Oh, darling, they're making such a noise, and the dust is rising even up to here. Everything will get filthy.
Yeah, you're right. I don't care what happens. I won't have any more fears now that I'm with you. You know, I never thought I'd be able to fall in love again.
You see, everything is possible.
I want so much to make you happy. You think you can be happy with me?
Why not? If you're happy, then I'll be happy. You say nothing scares you, but really you're frightened of everything. What could possibly happen to us?
My love, my dear love, let me kiss your lips. I never dreamed I could feel such tremendous emotion.
You must be more calm and more sure of yourself now.
I am. Let me kiss you.
I'm very tired, my dear. Why don't you stay calm and rest? Sit in the armchair.
I adore you, Daisy. I admire you as well.
Maybe you won't say that once you get to know me better.
The more I know you, the better you seem. And you're so beautiful. So very beautiful. Particularly compared to them. You may not think that that's a compliment, but they make you seem more beautiful than ever.
You've been good today. You haven't had any brandy?
No, yes, I've been good.
Is that the truth?
It's the truth, I assure you.
Can I believe you? I wonder.
Yes, you must believe me.
All right. Can I have a little glass? It'll buck you up. You stay where you are. Where's the bottle?
It's in my cage.
You've hidden it well away.
It's out of the way of temptation.
You've been a good boy. You're making progress.
I'll make a lot more now that I'm with you.
There's your reward.
Thank you.
That's enough for this morning. I don't want it to make you ill. How does your head feel now?
Much better, darling.
Let's take off the bandage.
No! Don't touch it.
Nonsense. We'll take it off now.
No, I'm frightened there might be something underneath. Ow!
Always frightened, aren't you? Always imagining the worst. There's nothing there, you see? Your forehead's as smooth as a baby's.
You're right. You're getting rid of my complexes. What would I do without you?
I won't leave you alone again.
I wouldn't have any more fears now that we're together.
I'll keep them all at bay.
We could read books. And I'll become clever.
When there aren't so many people about, we'll take long walks.
Yeah. Along the park. And in the hills.
And to the zoo.
I'll be brave and strong. And I'll keep you from harm.
You don't need to defend me, silly. We don't wish anyone harm, and no one wishes us any, my dear.
Well, sometimes one does harm without meaning to. Rather, allows it to go unchecked. I know you didn't like poor old Mr. Papillon very much, but you needn't have spoken to him so harshly that day when Booth turned into a rhinoceros. You needn't have told him he had such horny hands.
It's true, he had.
Well, I know he did, my dear, but you could have said so less bluntly and not hurt his feelings so much. It had a big effect on him.
Do you really think so?
He didn't show it. He was too proud. But the remark certainly went home. Must have influenced his decision. You might have been the means of saving him.
How could I possibly know what was going to happen to him? Besides, he was so ill-mannered.
Well, for my own part, I shall never forgive myself for not being nicer to Jean. I never gave him a really solid proof of the friendship I felt for him. I wasn't sufficiently understanding.
Don't worry about it. You did all you could. Nobody can do the impossible. You mustn't reproach yourself now. Stop thinking about it. You must forget all those bad memories.
But they keep coming back to me. They're very real memories.
I didn't know you were such a realist. I thought you were more poetic. Where's your imagination? There are many sides to reality. Choose the one that's best for you. Escape into the world of imagination.
It's easy to say that.
Aren't I enough for you?
Yes, more than enough.
You'll ruin everything if you go on having a bad conscience. Everyone has their faults, but you and I have got less than a lot of people.
You really think so?
We're comparatively better than most. We're good, both of us.
That's true. I'm good. You're good. That's true.
So then we have the right to live.
Yeah.
We even owe ourselves the duty to be happy in spite of everything. Guilt is a dangerous symptom. It shows a lack of purity.
You're right. A lot of them started like that.
You must try and not feel guilty anymore.
Right you are, my wonderful love. You're all my happiness, the light of my life. We're together, aren't we? I mean, our love is the only thing that's real. No one can keep us from being happy. In fact, I mean, no one could stop us, could they? What could that be?
Pull the plug. Don't answer it.
Why?
I don't know. I feel it's better not to.
But it might be Mr. Papillon, or Denard, or Botard, or Jean. Cohen say that they've had second thoughts. You did say it was only a passing phase.
I don't think so. They wouldn't have made up their minds so quickly. They're bound to give it a fair trial.
It's the authorities, I tell you. I recognize the ring, the long drawn-out one. You can't ignore an appeal from them. It can't be anyone else. Hello? Listen, company, did you hear that?
What's going on?
They're playing jokes now.
Jokes in bad taste.
See? That's what I told you.
You didn't tell me anything.
I was expecting it. That's just what I predicted.
But you didn't predict anything. You never do. You can only predict things after they've happened.
Yes, I can. I can predict things all right.
Not very nice of them. In fact, it's very nasty. I don't like being made fun of.
They wouldn't dare make fun of you. It's me they're making fun of.
Naturally, I come in for it as well, because I'm with you. They're taking their revenge, but what have we done to them? Just pull the plug out.
The telephone authorities say that you mustn't.
You never dare to do anything. And you say you could defend me?
Well, let's listen to the radio for some news.
Yes, we must see how things stand. Things are getting serious. I tell you, Brittany, I don't like it.
Keep calm. Keep calm.
They're taking over the radio stations.
Keep calm. Keep calm.
It's no joke any longer. They need business.
There's nobody but them left now. Nobody but them. Even the authorities have joined them.
Not a soul left out. Anywhere.
We're all alone. We're left all alone.
That's what you wanted.
That's what you want.
It was you.
It was you.
The earth is trembling.
No, that's our neighbors, the Prisonacles. Stop it. Stop it, I say. Noise is forbidden. Noise is forbidden in these flats.
I'll never listen to you.
Don't be frightened, my darling. Isn't this enough that I love you, is it? I'll chase all your fears away.
Perhaps it's all our own fault.
You mustn't start worrying. It's dangerous to start feeling remorse. We must just live our lives and be happy. We have the right to be happy. They're not spiteful. We're not doing them any harm. They'll leave us in peace. Just come over here, sit down, calm down.
some brandy to pull yourself together?
I've got a headache.
No. I love you, Daisy. Don't think about it. Don't. It's just a passing phase. They'll get over it. You'll see.
They won't get over it. It's for good.
I love you. I love you madly.
But things just take their course. What can we do about it?
They're all mad. The whole world is sick. They're all sick.
We shan't be the ones to cure them.
How can we live in the same house with them?
We must be sensible. We must adapt ourselves and try to get on with them.
They don't understand us.
They must. There's no other way.
Do you understand them?
No. But we must try and understand the way their minds work and learn their language.
They haven't got a language. Listen, you call that a language?
How do you know? You're no polyglot.
We'll talk about it later. Let's have lunch first.
I'm not hungry anymore. It's all too much. I can't take any more.
You're not gonna let it get you down, are you? You're the strong one. It's precisely for your courage that I admire you so.
You said that before.
Do you feel sure of my love?
Yes, of course.
I love you so.
You keep saying the same thing.
Listen, there is something we can do. We'll have children. And our children will have children. It'll take time. But together, we can regenerate the human race.
Regenerate the human race?
Happened once before.
Ages ago, Adam and Eve, they had a lot of courage.
We too can have courage. It doesn't take all that much. It happens automatically with time and patience.
What's the use?
Of course we can, with a little courage.
I don't want to have children. It's a bore.
How can we save the world if you don't?
I bother to save it.
Nothing to say, Daisy. Do it for me. Let's save the world.
After all, perhaps it's we who need saving. Perhaps we're the abnormal ones.
You're not yourself, Daisy. You must have a touch of fever.
There aren't any more of our kind out anywhere, are there?
Not to talk like that, Daisy.
Those are the real people. They look happy. They're content to be what they are. They don't look insane. They look very natural. They were right to do what they did.
We're the ones who are right, Daisy. I assure you.
It's very presumptuous of you.
You know perfectly well that I'm right.
There's no such thing as absolute right. It's the world that's right, not you and me.
I am right, Daisy. And the proof is that you understand me when I speak to you.
What does that prove?
The proof is that I love you as much as it's possible for a man to love a woman.
Funny sort of argument.
It's got in you, Daisy. Think about what you're saying, darling. Think of our love. Our love!
I feel a bit ashamed of what you call love.
What?
This morbid feeling? This male weakness and female too? It just doesn't compare to the adore and tremendous energy emanating from all these creatures around us.
Energy? Do you want some energy, do you? Well, I'll give you some!
I couldn't believe it possible.
Forgive me. Please, darling, forgive me. I didn't mean it. I don't know what came over me losing control like that.
You've run out of arguments, that's why.
It was space for a few minutes. We've gone through 25 years of married life.
I pity you. I understand you all too well.
I think I've run out of arguments, have you? Oh, I think they're stronger than me. Stronger than us. Well, maybe they are.
Indeed they are.
I swear to you, in spite of everything, I'll never give in. Never.
I'll help you resist until the very end.
Will you be capable of it?
I give you my word. You can trust me. Listen. They're singing.
musical ear then.
You don't know the first thing about music. And look, they're playing as well. And dancing.
You call that dancing?
It's their way of dancing. They're beautiful.
They're disgusting.
Not to say unpleasant things about them. It upsets me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're not going to quarrel on their behalf.
They're like gods.
You go too far, Daisy. Take a good look at them.
You mustn't be jealous, my dear.
I can see that our opinions are directly opposed. It's better not to discuss the matter anymore.
Don't you be nasty.
What? And don't you be stupid!
It's no longer possible for us to live together. He isn't very nice. Really, he isn't very nice.
And I'm so bad looking, you know. I'm not a particularly handsome specimen. Believe me, Daisy. 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 Daisy, where are you? Daisy. Daisy. Don't leave Joe alone. Come back. Come back. You haven't even had your lunch, darling. Don't leave me like this. Remember your promise. Well, it was obvious we weren't getting along. Home was broken up. Things just weren't working out. She shouldn't have left like that, with no explanation. She didn't even leave a message. That's no way to behave. Now I'm all on my own. All alone. You won't get me. You won't get me. I'm not joining you. I don't understand you. I'm staying as I am. A human being. A human being. It's an impossible situation. It's my fault she's gone. I meant everything to her. What'll become of her? It's one more person on my conscience. I can easily picture the worst. The worst can easily happen. Poor little thing, left all alone in this world of monsters. No one can help me find her. No one! Because there's no one left. I can't bear the sound of them anymore. The only solution is to convince them. But convince them of what? Are the changes reversible? Are they? That's the point. It would be a labor of Hercules, far beyond me. To convince them, you'd have to talk to them. To talk to them, you'd have to speak their language. They'd have to speak mine. But what language do I speak? Is it English? So it must be English. But what's English? I can say it's English if I want, and nobody can say it isn't. There's no one else who speaks it. But what am I saying? Do I understand what I'm saying? Do I? What if it's true what Daisy said? And they're the ones that are right. No. A man's not ugly to look at. Not ugly at all. What do I look like? What a funny looking thing. What do I look like? I'm not good looking. I'm not good looking. The good looking ones. I was wrong. Oh, I wish I could join them. Got no horns, more's the pity. Smooth brow looks so ugly. I need 1 or 2 horns to give my saggy face a lift. Perhaps one will grow. And then I need needn't be ashamed any longer, and then I can join them. But it'll never grow. My hands are so limp, I don't think it grow. My skin is so slack. Oh, I can't stand this white body. Oh, I'd love to have orange skin in that wonderful dull green color. A skin that looks decent naked without any clothes on it. Their song is charming. A bit raucous, perhaps, but it does have charm. Oh, I wish I could do it. That's not it. Try again louder. No, it's too feeble. It's got no drive behind it. I'm just There's a big difference between howling and trumpeting. It's too late. It's my fault. I should have joined them while I still had the time. Now I'm a monster. Now I'm just a monster. Now I'll never become a rhinoceros. I want to. I really do. But I can't. I've gone past changing. I can't. I just can't stand the sight of me. I'm too ashamed. I'm so ugly. People who try to hang on their individuality always come to a bad end. Oh well. Too bad. I'll take on the whole. I'll put up a fight against the body. I'm the last man. Capitulate!
Our last night, keep the video cameras rolling. An ensemble's only as strong as the individuals that make it up, so I'd like to introduce everyone individually. This is Mick Jagger. Boynton. Good. Thomas. Problem with last names, I know them all by first name. This is Jenny Wilder. This is Haley Voorhees. This is Marie Owen Cox. Court Voorhees. This is our musician, Sonny Rhinoceros.
Yeah!
Also a member of Mobius Triple, soon will be rich and famous. This is Walker Bernard. This is Dawn Kaufman. What's your last name?
Walker.
Helen Walker. No, this is Mick Jagger. This is Jesse Law. This is Sarah Bolin. Hi, Jamara Duckworth. Josh Rye. And this young actor had never been on stage before. And I've done theater for a long time, and I wouldn't want that role. And my hat and my heart is open to this young man for the courage to take on what he took on. Baba Law. I'd like to thank all the parents. I know they give you a lot of trouble, but they never gave me any trouble at all. I also want to make an announcement. We are forming a street theater company for the summer, and there will be other productions in the fall. If anyone's interested, we'll have a pre-meeting sometime, but it will officially begin here July 5th, and we'll try to liberate the streets of Santa Fe.